I've been playing Skyrim since 2011. That's 14 years as of the time I'm releasing this video, and I can tell you one thing's for certain. I've never played a more annoying way than I'm about to in this video. Here's the rules. No forward, no left, no right, and no third person. We're only allowed to walk backwards. We're also playing on legendary difficulty, and enabling survival mode to make things even worse. I've moved the left, right, and forward keybinds to the other side of my keyboard so I don't accidentally push any of them. If you've never played this way, then I don't recommend it. I got nothing from this experience except pain, and I couldn't wait for it to be over almost as soon as I started. I don't think I'm gonna get many comments from people saying this video made them want to boot up Skyrim again, but let's see how far we can take this thing in 100 days. I'm going for Breton so we get that familiar conjuration spell. I'm gonna lean into conjuration for sure, so we have more things to take aggro from us. Using this war paint so it looks like someone grabbed my head to turn me the right way around, and I'm going for 26 S keys for our name, since that's the only flippin' button we'll have access to. Alduin ruins the Imperial's plans for my execution, and this is about the moment I have so much regret for this video idea. But we're in it for 100 days now. There's no going back. Well, there's plenty of going back, and oh my word, I'm on fire. I ran off with Rayloff simply because he was closer and involved less walking. Got my binds cut from behind and looted Rayloff's friend for gear. For now, I'll have this axe and a familiar. But as soon as I get a bow, I'm switching to that. For doing damage, it'll be a lot less awkward than trying to use melee weapons. I died trying to do just that pretty easily. Running for your life in reverse is not fun, I can confirm. Used my conjured wolf to help Rayloff take out the Imperials while I hid away from everyone around the corner. It's actually only slightly interesting getting to see the dungeon from this way. It feels like a totally different location. It's like I'm playing a DLC. I could imagine Todd Howard releasing the game where you can only walk backwards. What else does he have left to sell from this game? You should do that. I got a bow. This will let me get a little bit more involved. I'm pairing two of the easier builds together with Stealth Archer and Conjuration. I'm out! And I instantly said no to survival mode. I planned on not playing in survival mode originally, but I pondered again for 5 seconds and changed my mind. We're making this as annoying as possible. Moonwalked my way to the Standing Stones and took the Thief Stone. It was between that for the sneaking and the Mage Stone, but I went with Thief, and I think Conjuration will just level up quickly anyways if you're spamming it like crazy, like I will be. Tried to stick with Rayloff best I could so he could help with the wildlife. He did help. Couldn't have done it without him, honestly. Hey, I made it to Riverwood. I got some things sorted here. I got the main quest line progressed, so our next objective is to tell the Jarl about Helgen and the dragon attack. Got Feindel as a follower, and scavenged the town for some food. Slept for a bit at Rayloff's people's house. You can sleep here for a night, and this is how you level up in survival mode too. Rest at a bed after a level up to spend attributes and perk points. Took Magicka for the attribute and Novice Conjuration for the perk, so it's easier to cast the Familiar and other novice spells in that field of magic. Right, Feindel, let's get out of here. Getting around in this is horrid. Not just dungeons and combat navigation, but getting between towns absolutely sucks. I found early on that you can wiggle the mouse a little bit, so to like see, you're just about facing one way enough that if you move any further the other way, that the objective on the compass will flip to the other side, so following markers isn't all that bad. It's just bumping into stuff behind you, it's what's awful. And not being sure if you're gonna bump into enemies. Getting around takes a long time, as you'd expect. Made it to Whiterun, and told the Jarl about Helgen's dragon attack. He wants me to help his court wizard with his dragon research. In a dungeon called Bleak Falls, probably in the main chamber, he says, lies a dragon stone, with all of the dragon burial grounds mapped on it. I bought the Flame Atronach spell from him too, but I can't cast it yet. I don't have enough magicka. I guess we better try to make it to Bleak Falls. Took a fall off a massive rock Whiterun's built on. That hurt. Not as much as this wolf hurt. Got me good. Getting up a mountain backwards is not something I'd like to attempt ever again after this video's done. There's gonna be a lot of complaining in this one. If you don't like it, then you can f off. Made it to Bleak Falls. It looks smaller than I remember. Got my summon down and popped off with the bow playing support. Picking up the arrows from bandits as I go. I'd like the conjure bow spell eventually, but for now, this will do. Use those bandits' bedroll to spend my level up. I'm going Magicker again and going up to the Apprentice Conjuration so we can summon the Flame Atronach. The whole way through this dungeon, I relied on other people and the environment to do as much damage to enemies as possible. Whether it was my summon, follower, or even just traps, I tried to put in as little effort as possible with the playstyle sucking so hard. Upgraded to a Hunter's Bow here and moved on swiftly to an Ancient Nord Bow doing 9 damage. This view doesn't look so good from this angle. Just not the same, really, is it? I got the Word of Power from the Word Wall and killed the Draugr holding the Dragonstone. I didn't loot all of the secret chests in this area because it's just not something I want to do walking like this and moving my character up in the world, and it's too much for me to go for that chest that may or may not have 2 gold coins in it. Took the rest of the night trying to get back to Whiterun. It's early hours day 3, and I'm back. I got the stone to the wizard, and there's an emergency at the watchtower down the road. A dragon's attacked it, and my moonwalking butts needed to help.
I need your help again.
First, I have a level to spend. 2 levels, actually. Both going into Archery's Overdraw, so we do 40% extra bow damage. I went real quick first to meet Irilef near the watchtower and freaked out when I saw the dragon coming back, thinking I couldn't make it backwards quick enough to safety in the watchtower itself. I got to it just in time, and I'm not moving for a solid 5 minutes. Got brave and popped my head out, facing the wrong way, looking for a chance to help. Got some arrow shots in. I'd been summoning my Atronach up until now to do some damage, but I'd been pretty lazy. There's so many Whiterun guards here that the dragon, as fierce as it may seem, stands no chance. Just like me in this playthrough. It's dead! I must look pretty cool to the NPCs right now. Like walking away while explosives go off behind me. I'm facing away from a dragon, while its life force gets ate up by my dragonborn powers. But to me and you, I look pretty dumb. You learn your dragonborn here and can consume dragon souls, and use the souls to unlock cool powers. Here I am, stood in a puddle. The Greybeards call me from the highest point in the game. The Jarl and company think I should go have a chat with them about my newfound powers. Oh, we have Lydia now too. She's our new housecarl, and I'll be for sure replacing Faendel with her. She just needs to stop walking away from me. Every time I turn around, she's further away. I got her. Not sure how long we'll keep her as a follower, but for now I want her over Faendel. I'm taking the carriage to Riften. The path to the Greybeards will be easier from their angle, with my not walking forward situation and all. I arrived hungry and tired. We'll need to stop by an inn for sure to buy some food. This place is full of thieves, but we'll avoid the criminals and just eat and rest. Not in that order. Leveled up and spent the perk point on sneak, so we'll be 20% harder to detect while sneaking. That's all I'm stopping into town for. I did find this guy playing the game wrong too. He's sitting down at a table, but not really. He's just floating there. The Greybeards are between here and Whiterun, and the walk isn't an easy one. Especially early game. There can be wolf and troll encounters all along the way. And not to mention the spiders plaguing the forests. I did bump into like all of those enemies on my trip, but I left Lydia and the Atronach to deal with them while I made the most painful to watch exit you've ever seen. Ah, Ivarstead. It's as gorgeous as I remember. Yeah, the walk up the 7,000 steps to the Greybeards starts here at Ivarstead. And like every trip ever in this video, I'm dreading it. It's not actually 7,000 steps, but it's a long way up, and the time it will take will be triple doing it this way. Thankfully, the sooner you go up here, the weaker the enemies will be, and I'm going up pretty early, so there won't be much to deal with. Just a couple wolves and a troll that I left to duke it out with my buddies. The Greybeards were happy to see me and told me a couple new words to shout, but I think my time with the main questline is already over. See, they want me to use a shout called Whirlwind Sprint. Emphasis on the sprint. That can't be used walking backwards, and is needed to be used 2 times total to beat the main questline, I believe. Just gotta get back off this massive mountain. Gonna be here for a minute. Bear with me. Right, I'm taking the carriage to Solitude for a couple of reasons. Reason number 1 is I think this questline is easily doable with the situation I put myself into here. And number 2 is I want the Bound Bow spell. We can either get it through purchasing it after Conjuration hits level 40, which could for sure happen by the time we get to Fort Amal in this questline, but we can find the spellbook there. It's easier to get it in Fort Mall if you do it with the Imperial Legion in the Civil War questline versus go in there now early on, since it's riddled with mages outside of the wall. Did sleep a little so we could see properly again and spent a skill point on the second stealth perk. So we're now 25% harder to detect while sneaking. So yes, I'm joining the Imperials. I'm sure I'll be of so much use to these suckers. They want me to take a different fort, all alone to prove myself. Oh, I'm gonna prove myself. I was gonna head on over, but leaving Solitude now, it's dark out, and it's gonna be pretty cold up at the fort we need to take, with us playing in survival mode and all. I'm already gonna find this hard enough with the S button being my bestie, so let's sleep till morning, and not make things harder on ourselves with the cold. It's still cold, but not as cold as it would normally be at nighttime. First attempt, it didn't go well. I spawned my Atronach and thought it and Lydia had all of the aggro, until I caught this arrow between my teeth. Second time around, I was more careful. Taking cover behind trees is much harder than you when you can't walk in a straight line, but I managed. Played support where I could, but I never really feel like much help. I'll get used to it and adapt more, I'm sure. But for now, all I'm really learning is the map in reverse. The fort is ours, and while leaving the area, I backed up into a dragon. My insurance won't cover this one, and I'm gonna have to pay in full with my life. Second exit was smoother. Snuck away from the fort somehow and avoided the dragon, even though it was directly above me for about 2 minutes. Rika is pleased with my fort handling and says she has a special job for me next. We have to go get the symbolic item called the Jagged crown before Ulfric's Stormcloak does. Let's meet her where it's been located. Right after I make a pit stop at Whiterun to eat and sleep. Playing in survival mode with this backwards thing has a lot of downsides. A big one, besides not knowing what the heck is going on behind me, is that I move much slower. If it's nighttime and I'm in a cold location, then the task of freezing to death could be easily accomplished, and I'm avoiding it best I can, sure, by sleeping in Whiterun until morning, with knowing the crown is in a harsh environment. Slept, level, and sneak with a perk point into muffled movement, making noise from armor be reduced by 50%. And proceeded to moonwalk my way to Rika, up northish from Whiterun. They're preparing to attack some Stormcloaks who are already here. My bad. Holding up the team, doing the world's worst challenge. Helped clear the enemies on the outside and made my way to the door of the dungeon. I find walking backwards while looking down helps sometimes. It helps me have a second to react to potentially falling off stuff. More Stormcloaks in here, but they didn't make it to the end of the place. We caught up with them all and started running into Draugr. I tried to leave my buddies do most of the work here. I'm not much help. As you can see, there's a puzzle door ahead needing a dragon claw. The ebony claw specifically. The claw's on the ground with the simple combination written on it. We use the door's symbols, lining them up with the ones on the claw. And bam, this sucker's open. Now we find the jagged crown on the head of a tough Draugr. Casting Flame Atronach between the undead to cause them to burn, and play support from the sidelines with my bow. They're dead, and we can take the claw for wow. They're dead, and we can take the crown for the Legion. Oh, I did get an orcish bow in a chest here too, to use. It's a little stronger than what I had been using, so that's nice. They let my moronic self carry the crown to Tullius. Or rather, first, the carriage outside Whiterun. Yes, I'm using carriages, by the way. I know there's a bit of an animation that shows me using my feet to go forward, but you can get lost if you think I'm not using them. Leave a dislike and a comment crying about it if you don't like it. Solitude also has my favorite food merchant in the entire game too. This market stall owned by Advar has a silly amount of seared slaughterfish for sale, too often, and I love it. Easy way to keep topped up on cooked food without having to do much, but hand over a little bit of gold. Return to Tullius, who would like me to deliver a letter to the Jarl of Whiterun. He thinks Ulfric's Stormcloak is planning an attack on the city, and Tullius wants us to offer up the Legion's soldiers to help protect the city. Gonna have to rest up and eat while here too. Things are about to go down in the next couple of days, but I'm not planning on lifting a finger. I've got enough problems. Leveled up again, taking Lightfoot this time so I don't trigger pressure plate traps. It's nice having one less thing to worry about when I already have a lot stressing me out. Gave Balgruuf the letter, but he's wanted me to take an axe to Ulfric to see if he'll accept it. If he does accept it, then there's no beef. If he doesn't accept it, then there is beef. Ah, well, there's a dragon at Windhelm. Please leave me alone. I ignored it, entering the city, but that didn't stop him from teleporting through the loading screen to terrorize the townsfolk. I, like most of my problems IRL, pretended it wasn't there, and continued on to the Hall of the Kings to talk to Ulfric. He told me to get lost, and that he'd be seeing me soon.
I expect a great deal of excitement in the city of Whiterun in the near future.
Told the Jarl of Whiterun he told me to get lost, and now, as you can see, the Stormcloaks have turned up at Whiterun with catapults. Rick is here with the Legion, and rallies everyone into battle. We're supposed to defend the city, but you don't have to participate in this quest even one bit. I did put my Atronach at the gate, but I hid under the arched wall at the outside of the city, and did absolutely jack. Yep, like I said, you don't have to participate. I'm sneaking so they won't see me, and your side always wins the fight anyways. You do fail the optional objective of not letting them lower the bridge to the city, but you can't really fail the quest doing it this way unless you really suck, which I do not. The Imperials took out 100% of the Stormcloaks, and we're in the clear. I'm supposed to go tell Tullius about what happened now, but the carriage outside the city isn't here, and it's massively far away to walk backwards to Solitude. The carriage driver, understandably, much like myself, disappears during the fight, and I tried always to get him to come back so I didn't have to walk to Solitude. I skipped a little bit of time and went to sleep the rest of the day away, hoping he just needed time to come back. He'll be back eventually when I get to Solitude and back, but I swear I've had him be here pretty quick after this quest in the past. I stand here on day 11 looking at where the carriage driver would be, holding back tears, trying not to cry. This is going to be the longest walk I've done yet. We're walking backwards halfway across the map. I'm lucky that I played so much Skyrim that I can kind of remember where a lot of enemies are and which way to go to avoid bumping into them. Doing it in reverse is hard, but I'm hitting a lot less than I could hope for. All those hours didn't save me from falling off this cliff. Falling has killed me more times than I'd like to admit. I'm not showing you all of them. This walk took me over half an hour, and I hated every minute of it. Doesn't sound like a lot of time, but this really isn't a fun way to play, and it felt like hours. There is Solitude. I can sniff it. It's so close. Had to swim backwards feet first across the river and do the last little bit of moonwalking up to the city in the skies. Tullius is very happy with our success at Whiterun, and tells me I'm to help take the Pale from the Stormcloaks. Lots of walking in very cold areas of the map coming up. It's nearly 6 PM in game, and I'm not going through them in the dark, so I'm resting up until morning. Gotta level up. I'm saving the perk point for a minute. I'm just walking from here to the Pale camp instead of taking the carriage to Dawnstar, because from what I can remember, there's more chance of running into some bandits from that angle versus this one. It's like I said, cold, but we don't have to worry about it too much during the day, as long as we're warming up when we can. This is the Forging Stormcloak Documents quest. We have to forge some of their documents gotten from a courier, so we can screw with them internally. I did jump on a horse to see if I could ride them using the S button on my keyboard. They do move forward, kinda, but it's hard to explain how to control it. It's definitely doable, but I think it would be more frustrating traveling this way, swinging my mouse back and forth, trying to get it to go straight. And I'm not sure I like the idea of doing it in the challenge anyways. Reloaded a save to lose the bounty because I'm a baby. You can go to the Nightgate Inn and... oh crap, that's a saber-tooth. Well, I'm dead. The quarry is at the Nightgate Inn, or at least he will be, says the guy I bribed working the bar. I just have to rest an hour and he'll turn up soon enough. Took a shot at his bread and I missed. Should have gone for the head. I do the second time around and don't miss this time. We have a bounty after causing mischief in here, so everyone has to die. Even the innkeeper's gotta go. That's the documents acquired, but it's nearly nighttime again after the slow walk backwards, and I don't fancy walking back to the camp in the cold with my S button. Let's rest up here till morning. Had a break to have some lunch. Now I'm back and, yep, this still sucks. I got interrupted by this orc. Weather was an issue, so I couldn't see the drama though, sadly. My health was taking a hit fast in this cold, so I opted to change direction towards the warmer Whiterun, and I'll take a carriage from there to Dawnstar. Bumped into this thief who asked me to keep hold of a stolen item for him. The real owner found me asking if I'd seen the thief. I lied and said no. Then, never seen the thief again, so I get to keep the item. I didn't want anything to do with it, so I wasn't questioning it or getting involved in fights. The less trouble I get, the better. While here in Whiterun, I did look for some warmer clothes, but everything the merchants had for sale that had a higher warmth rating was just heavy armor. And I'm enjoying my sneaking around a little too much to make the jump to the heavier stuff. I did get a backpack here in Belethor's shop. It lets me carry more junk and gives a 10% boost to my bow damage, so it's a win-win. Now taking the carriage to Dawnstar for the first time. Resting up while here. I see lots of walking in the cold in my future, and again, I'm not doing it while it's dark out. We do hit those bandits I mentioned earlier if we go in this direction to the camp, but it is what it is. It wasn't as much of an issue as I thought it would be. They were all pretty weak, and my Atronach and follower handled them pretty well. Got to Rika and had her forge the documents giving some false information to the Stormcloaks. Then delivered it back to Dawnstar to this guy. He thought I was sus, but bought the lie about me not wearing my Stormcloak drip, saying it's to blend in better with the Imperial stuff. Sucker. And now all the way back to the camp. While I make the walk, I'd like to ask you a favor. If you're still watching the video by this point, I'm gonna assume you're enjoying it. If that's the case, I'd appreciate a like. It costs you nothing, and lets me know you want to see more videos just like this one. Let's get back to walking backwards trash. Rika says Fort Dunstead is our next target. It's getting near the time where things will get colder. So it can wait until morning and it's light out. The fort's not going anywhere now, is it? Saving up some perk points. That's 2 now, and I'm undecided on what to spend them on. I bumped into some things on the way. I'm not super familiar with this part of the map versus some of the other areas, so it's much harder for me to pinpoint potential dangerous spots. Despite the locals trying to stop me, I did make it to the fort. Casted my Atronach on the ground and found a tree stump to plant my backside against during the entirety of the fight. I don't even feel bad. I'm moving forward in a questline and that's all I care about. Actually, moving forward in something is nice. It's better than the way I move forward using my feet. It took about 13 minutes of sitting around doing not a single thing for the fort to be ours. They took their sweet time. Luckily, the weather was on my side and it's not really cold here. Now for the walk back to Solitude. I should be fine in the cold today. It's just another 20-minute walk backwards for me. I hope you're excited for another 85 days of complaining because that's what I plan on doing for the rest of the video. Talia says Riften's next. I'm wondering which side would have less walking involved. Solitudes are far in the corner of the map, but it does depend where each side would have the camp locations, I guess, and not the whole locations themselves, since we're using carriages anyways. The Rift one isn't great because there's a massive walk from Riften, where I take the carriage to, over to the camp being near Iverstead in the middle-ish area of the map. Whiterun's closer to the camp, kinda, at least from the map perspective, but I'd rather go Riften's way than walk around the massive throat of the world mountain between Whiterun and the camp. This walk has to be done 4 times total. We need to go to it now, then back to Riften for the next objective, then back to the camp to report what happened at Riften, and then lastly to leave the rift through carriage. The walk took a total of 15 minutes, so that's an hour of travel just to and from this camp. Don't mind me, Stormcloaks. I'm just here in your homeland, preparing to rob it and claim it for the Imperials. Don't get involved. I'm trying not to, myself, honest. Rika now wants me to make that walk back to Riften to bribe the steward. She's been having dealings with the Thieves Guild there, and we can use that to our advantage to get some information out of her. Or at least I would if it wasn't game over falling off this cliff to my doom. I wish it was game over. I really do. Because I respawned and was forced by basically nobody to continue this challenge. This was kind of my partner's idea, by the way. Well, I did write it down originally, but then I was showing her my options for what I wanted to do next. She laughed and said this one would be good. So I can thank her for the painful recommendation. A spider interaction happened too. It didn't go my way. It went the spiders. When I finally made it back to Riften, I stole some incriminating evidence and showed it to the steward. Managed to squeeze 750 gold out of her for myself, and got the location to some gear being transported by the Stormcloaks. We'll take it for the Imperials. Day 18 was probably the most down and out I felt in the video so far. It wasn't a great day. I went to do my reverse walk back to the camp. Made it after about 15 minutes and was told to attack the carriage carrying the Stormcloaks' gear. The carriage was closer to Riften City than the Rift camp we have set up, so it was a bit of a walk again. And I just so happened to have created a quick save at the most inconvenient time imaginable, right after bumping into a bear and not realizing. Yep, I died over and over again. I really didn't want to load an older save and have to travel more than I had to, so I just tried to escape the spawn kill situation. I don't even know how to explain how I did get away from this mess. Atronach somehow got its attention. But then, to my surprise, I got caught off guard again by the wildlife. This time some wolves backing up the bear. I escaped on some rocks. Somehow. That's my explanation. Made it to the carriage that had broken down and lit the soldiers alight. Letting Lydia, my follower, and Atronach take them down. Reported to Hadvar nearby of my success. And then became really sad that I had to go report to the camp before the next part. I thought this was the end, meaning I could leave by carriage back to Solitude, but totally forgot about taking the fort here in the Rift. I guess there's more travel to be done here than I originally pointed out. I nipped into Riften to rest and do some things before making the trip again, since it was pretty close. I also have severe ataxia. It's not an illness that affects us much, specifically. Makes our pickpocketing and lockpicking be 50% harder, but I've avoided both of those things, honestly. I'm trying to not level up unnecessarily, so enemies stay as weak as possible for as long as possible. Lockpicking and pickpocketing will level me up pretty good. Gave an offering to the Talos shrine in town to get rid of it though, so everyone would stop telling me how sick I look. I'm not sure if they were talking about the ataxia or the walking backwards. I did the walk back to the camp for the final time and got my orders. We're taking another fort called Fort Greenwall. It's very close to Riften City, so getting on a carriage for Solitude afterwards won't be that bad. It's just the walk back that sucks. I don't plan on doing anything at the fort. It's hard to fail these quests, like I said. I don't really have to do anything. The Imperials will clear out Ulfric's boys all by themselves. So I cast my Atronach, stick my butt against the outside wall of the fort, and went to take a break from this crap. As you can see, while I was gone, we got 100% of the Stormcloaks killed without lifting a finger. Racking up participation trophies like the little brat I am. It's still dark out. Nearly 4 AM, wake up time. Tullius is up too. No rest for this guy. He wants me to help take Winterhold next. It's normally another easy hold to take, but I had some trouble in this playthrough. I took the carriage over to Dawnstar since that hold's closer to the camp than Winterhold is. Some spiders on my reverse walk, but the trip to the camp wasn't the trouble I was talking about. Now that I have my orders here, we need to execute a rescue mission at Fort Castav. Getting there wasn't easy, just like getting anywhere at the minute isn't fun. It's very cold between the camp and the fort. So cold that I started looking for somewhere to rest. Bumped into some giants and just walked through hoping to not catch a stray mammoth tusk and made it through unscathed. And even made it back to the Nightgate Inn, the place we got the Stormcloak documents to forge. We killed everyone here, so the bed's an easy place to rest at. Costs nothing, and we practically own the joint. The trouble didn't end with the cold and the mammoths. It stopped with these seducers from whatever that DLC is that you get in the Anniversary Edition. I've never played around with these guys to see where the questline goes, and I have no intention of doing so in this playthrough, but trying to kill them wasn't going my way. I died a lot, and opted to avoid them. Managed to lose their scent and sneak around their camp. I'm not sure where Lydia is. She might be dead, and I couldn't care less. Snuck through a trapdoor of the fort to get to the imprisoned soldiers. Lydia's in here too, so she's not dead. That's good, I guess. Grabbed the cell keys and started to release the prisoners. They gear up and we work on picking off the Stormcloaks to escape. Or rather, they work on picking them off. If they think I'm doing anything, then they have another thing coming. We made it outside, but we have even more soldiers ahead of us. I got a good couple of deaths under my belt outside, but you know what? All was good in the end. I hid, casting Flame Atronach, letting it and the Imperials do all of the dirty work. It's over, and we're progressing nicely in the quest line. Now to get to Windhelm's carriage, which was a nightmare, by the way. I approached the city from the back over the mountain and fell off to my death more times than Todd Howard sold me this game. Successfully slid down only to freeze to death trying to cross the river between us and the carriage. I found a good rhythm jumping out of the water while walking back to not freeze, and hopped on the carriage for Solitude to tell Tullius the good news and to get my new orders. I've also not had any arrows for a silly amount of days. I don't buy or find any today, but I thought I'd mention how irresponsible of a stealth archer I've been recently. Tullius says East March is next. I'm a little concerned about taking Windhelm with the way the raid's set up, but we're not quite there yet. Get into the camp by taking the carriage, once again to Windhelm, and we'll find our way by foot to the camp. We will have a solution to our arrow shortage soon enough. Soon enough. Because at the next fort is where we get the bound bow spell. It gives us a conjured bow and 100 arrows per cast to play with. Never having to worry about arrows again once we get that. Rested at the city we planned to take and left for the camp up on the hill a ways from town. Today is a big day. We'll be raiding Windhelm and taking it for the Legion. Hopefully. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It's gonna be hard not being allowed to walk forward, but I have faith in myself taking Windhelm. Before we get to that, Rika says we have one last fort to take called Fort Amal. Normally the forts are riddled with mages, like I said, but this quest overrides them, filling it up with stormcloaks. We have to traverse this lovely area of the map. It's full of dragons, giants, wolves, bears, saber-tooths, the lot. And I bump into every single one of those enemies on the way. I'd seriously prefer to walk on Legos for the rest of my life than do this challenge ever again. As you can see, I made it to the Imperial soldiers, preparing to attack the fort. They ran in while I pressed my back to the fort and went to use the bathroom. When I returned, the percentage of stormcloaks in the area had dropped to an absolute 0. And I went to find a place to rest at the fort. That place to rest was a prison cell. It'll do. But more important than sleeping, in this bucket, wait, let me just back up. In this bucket is that bound bow spell behind a lantern. We can consume the book and get severe constipation and get the spell to use in our arsenal. We can cast it, and like I said, get a powerful bow to use temporarily. And 100 arrows at our disposal. Now we walk all the way back across the harsh terrain to the Empire's camp in Eastmarch. It was as hellish as the first walk through it, but I managed to stay alive and get my orders from Rika to meet Tullius at the gates of Windhelm. It's time to take the city. This quest is going to be very, very hard for us, to say the least. It's not like the other quests in the quest line where we can just sit back and do nothing to complete it. Inside Windhelm, you have to push through the city, or the Imperials simply won't move through it because stormcloaks continuously spew into the fight, spawning at a rate that is too much for my little backwards walker to handle. The bound bow also takes a lot of magicka to use, and I didn't really use it like I'd like to have used it. We have to knock down the spiked walls in our way and try to encourage the Imperials to come with me to the next sections of the city, creating save points every time I get past the section so we don't have to do it all again. I died so many times, especially in this last section, learning where to place the Atronach to get their attention, along with the other Imperials, while I jumped the last spiked wall and made a break for the Palace of the King's doors so we can go face to face. I mean, back of head to face with Ulfric's Stormcloak. I take a shot at him to trigger the fight and focus primarily on the rebel leader. He's down. Now for this, now for Stonefist. This fight's not hard at all. Not compared to what we'd just been through outside. Stonefist wasn't far behind Ulfric. Ulfric's not quite dead. Has a few more words to say, but I'm quick to pull the trigger. That's the quest line done. And all while walking backwards. Now, I need to sleep. The carriage owner's not going to be outside the city, and I don't want to walk the cold areas of the map at night. Luckily, we can pick the doors to the Candle Hearth Inn, and the inside is pretty much how it would be any other day before the war. They aren't bothered in the slightest with the outside happenings that just happened. I rented a room and got my head down, and proceeded to attempt the walk to Whiterun while I had to think about what I wanted to do next. Can't say much about day 26. Just walking and unloading my inventory at town. Pretty boring day. I was trying to think what could be actually doable in terms of major quest lines while walking backwards, and also what I could do to easily level conjuration. And I'm thinking the companions could use someone of my level of skill. Someone whose hand they need to hold the entire way through the quests, like in the Civil War quest line. These quests have friendlies almost all the way through to help you along and provide a free bed in Whiterun. I went to talk to Kodlak about joining. He had Vilkas test my arm, but he didn't like my bound bow, saying I was cheating using magic instead of a physical weapon. I put it away and tried using my fists instead. You only have to hit him with physical damage 3 times to progress, but he's standing ever so slightly out of my reach, and I really want him to move so I don't have to turn around. Move, then turn back around again to punch. He didn't move and I went to move, but he instead murdered the crap out of me. That seems like he shouldn't be allowed to do that. Just like my magic cheats, it's not very honorable. Second time around, I made sure to get up in his face before he had a chance to be outside of the danger zone. And I got my free shots in to complete the objective. Did some running around, doing simple tasks, delivering items for the companions, and was told to get a job from one of the more major members of the group. I picked Ayala first. She wants me to exterminate some wildlife causing problems for the people of Whiterun. But when I went to find the animal, it was a saber-tooth that was pretty dead already. Something else got to it first, and the location its objective said to clear was already cleared. Even on the map, it's marked as cleared, and there's nothing here to find in person either. Luckily, I'd made a previous save so I could go back and get work from Skjor instead to kill this escaped prisoner. Easy stuff. Next up, Skjor says we should team up with Farkas to retrieve a fragment of Ufrad out at Dustman's Cairn. Let's get off to it. It's gonna take a while to get to it with the way we move, so we better get moving. Dustman's Cairn is a fun dungeon for sure. Pretty nostalgic for me, and I love going through it. Plenty of Draugr to deal with, and Silverhand werewolf hunters to get in our way. Oh, Farkas is a werewolf, by the way. Along with most of the other companions. This one's a bit of a baby. He's cowering here for some reason and finds out at some point later that he's scared of spiders. I spent practically all day in here. As with almost everything about this playthrough, I'm pretty slow getting around. This last room has about 20 or so standing Draugr coffins that once we take the fragment of Ufrad, all come out to greet us. An attempt to ruin our day. But this little corner here is Draugr proof. Yep, whether we're sneaky or not, this corner on top of the chest will keep us safe. I used a combination of my Atronach and bound bow to keep the undead at bay, and escaped when the time was right with the fragment. Back at Whiterun, the companions can wait. I'm after the muffle spell to dip my toes into the illusion tree. I know I mentioned not leveling unnecessarily earlier, but screw that for now. I'm abusing the spell to get illusion to level 50. If you're wondering what the spell does, it makes my footsteps quieter, but I'm just wanting to level the skill, honestly. We can rest an hour to regen magicka to cast the spell again. We could easily just wait without skipping time, but it takes a while doing it that way, and I'm abso-freaking-lutely wanting this video over and done with. Not really. I'm having the time of my life. Honest. If I'm lying, then let God strike me down where I stand right now. I got to level 50 illusion and invested some points into the tree. I already took novice and apprentice illusion while spamming the spell to make it easier to cast, but now I'm taking animage so illusion spells now work on higher level animals. Kindred mage so all illusion spells work on higher level people. The big one being quiet casting to make it so casting spells is now silent from any tree, meaning I can silently cast my Atronachs and bound bow from the shadows because those spells are normally a dead giveaway to where I'm hiding. Also adept illusion, so adept spells are easier to cast, and hypnotic gaze, plus aspect of terror to make calm and fierce spells work on higher level opponents. Now I want some new spells, so over to Winterhold we go. Right after we turn in this fragment of Ufrad and get told to get some more work from the companion leaders. They can wait. I'm taking a carriage over to Winterhold to join the Mages College. Getting away from the college is what's really gonna be a pain. I have no horse, there's no carriage for travel back, and it's freezing up here, so we'll see how it goes. I think I know a route. Got access to the college taking a simple test at the bridge, showing them I can indeed cast the fireball spell effectively. I did my first lesson about ward spells, but I'm here for this guy.
You can see me?
This is the illusion mage of the college, with some pretty nice spells for sale at this point in our illusionist career. That just started. It just started. I got the Frenzy and Fear spells. Fear, it's a single enemy, making them run away if they're low enough level. And Frenzy can hit multiple enemies, making them be aggressive to practically everything around, including their friends. I also picked up the Frost Atronach spell from the Conjuration Mage outside. This guy is tougher than my Flame Atronach, but costs a lot more to summon. I slept up at the college dorm. I'm not going anywhere in this frozen hellhole of a town at night. I left when the sun rose and had an escape route planned out. First, I followed the main path from town to the mine up the road where we find... Hang on, let me... We get to take advantage of our fear spell we just bought. At the mine, there's a forge where we can warm our hands up. our health's too low, and cold will eat right through it if we don't make pit stops along the way. The next pit stop is up here at a fort we rescued the Imperials from earlier. I remember a campfire being made up there we can use. Besides the cold, the only thing we hit on the way was a thief. Casted fear at it to keep the sucker back. Made it to the fort and got warmed up. The next place I want to hit is the Windhelm down south from here. But honestly, when I made it here, the cold wasn't as bad as it was. And I think I can make it without stopping for too long. We also don't get many good views while playing the game this way, but Skyrim decided it's time to remind me how beautiful she was, no matter how you decide to play. Feels like home. Hopped on the carriage for Whiterun at the Windhelm stable. Skio's happy. He's about to die very soon. Sorry for the spoilers. If this is your first experience with the game, I'd be concerned if it was, and also a little bit sorry. I'm to get another job from one of the inner circle members. I picked Skewer again to kill a dangerous escaped prisoner. This one's near Riften, but they do move around, so hopefully he or she's not far from the city when I make it. The prisoner's a little a ways now, and I rested up at the town because I was tired, and the criminal had made his way closer to the city, which was nice. Made it easier for him to kill the crap out of me. Got the guards and horses outside the city involved, so we had more meat shields between me and him the second time around. Got the killing blow, and that's the last of that guy. But not the last of my dying. There's a lot of my dying coming up very soon. Hopping on a carriage to tell Skewer the good news. Arrived, tired again, rested up in Whiterun after telling Skewer of our success, and he has something special in store for us next. We're to meet him at the Underforge tonight. It's about 7 p.m.-ish now, and we're able to start the interaction. They're gonna give me the Beast Blood gift, allowing me to transform into a werewolf. I drink Ayala's blood and pass out, waking up a werewolf. But more importantly, I'm in third person, which is bad. I didn't move one bit, so I'm saying this is okay. Passed out again and woke up in the middle of flippin' nowhere with Ayala, who says they've prepared a celebration. A silver hand camp slaughter. Picked off the werewolf hunters camping on the outer area. I'm not sure what Ayala's doing. I made my way through the inside along with Ayala and my Atronach. This guy stuck behind a trap. I tried to wiggle him out and stupidly got stabbed like you wouldn't believe. Ended up just shooting at his feet until he dies behind the trap. I was in here a long time, mostly relying on my friendlies to do all of the damage. But one of our friendlies is no longer with us. See, Skewer's went on ahead of us and is dead as all get out. Ayala's upset about it and wants us to seek revenge on the werewolf hunters. The silver hand leader she picked for us to kill is way over by Morthal. It's pretty cold here, and I don't want to walk that entire way from here. So I'm moonwalking my way to the newly claimed Windhelm to use the carriage there once more. It'll make the walk so much quicker going from Morthal than here. There was no drama on the way, which is just how I like it. I have enough going on right now, so I'll take the easy time any chance I get. Speaking of taking it easy, I need to sleep now that I'm here too. The inn called Moorside Inn has my back with a bed to rent and food to buy to get me nice and sorted. Started my walk early hours day 35 for that silver hand leader. It's on the very edge of the Saberfield Flats, and on my way, I got murdered by a spider. That's all I had to say on the subject. I'm not proud of it. I'm proud I made it in the end. It's a very uninviting looking cave with, as you'd expect, many silver hand and a leader of the group to kill. I had no issues with the leader's grunts, but the leader itself kept randomly regenerating its health on me. I don't have a follower on me since we left Lydia at Whiterun for the quests with the companions, and I never went to get her back. I got its health down enough with the Atronach and had just enough magicka to cast Bound Bow and finish it off before it had a chance to heal up. Now let's get back to Whiterun. Ayala says there's another silver hand camp that has their plans written up inside it. I'm to go get the plans and see if we can get ahead of them. Taking Lydia to Rederin's retreat to get the plans. I'd like a new follower, but I don't see a point in changing it up since so much of the companion's questline just replaces your follower anyways. So after the questline is probably when I should do that. I'd not realized how high I'd gotten Sneak's level either. Level 79. Might as well dump some points into the tree. Taking 2 points into stealth, bringing us up to the 4th total, making me harder to detect. Rederin's retreat is a very small cave, consistent of barely any enemies. killed them, and got my hands on the Silver Hand plans. I'd also not really switched over to the Frost Atronach yet because it's an adept conjuration spell and I can't cast those without it costing a massive amount of magicka. So the Flame One is gonna have to do for the time being. Kodlak's caught wind of our rampage for revenge and tells us to cut it out. Then asks I take the heads of the witches that gave the wolf curse to the companions, so we can somehow cure him with it, and he can run off to Sovngarde when he dies. We just have to kill one witch, and I'm a little bit worried about it. The witches are hag ravens, and they have healing spells that, when thinking about it, I thought we couldn't deal enough damage to combat the fast healing. Made my way awkwardly to the cave where the witches live and got to work chipping away at its health with my Atronach. Lydia was no help. Just stood there shouting at the hag, leaving us to do all of the work. Even without Lydia, my conjured bow and Atronach was enough to overpower the healing hag raven. There's its head. Like I said, we only need to kill one witch, but if we wanted to, we could stay and get 4 more heads. I have no interest in doing that while walking backwards. I'll stop when I'm ahead and leave with just 1 head. A bear caught me off guard on my way back. Scared the life out of me. Quite literally took the life out of me. I'm back, and as I approach Yarvaskr, I find the Silver Hand have attacked the base and managed to kill our harbinger Kodlak before we had a chance to help him with his curse curing. Now Vilkas wants revenge and to get all of the fragments of Ufrad back, because the Silver Hand didn't just steal Kodlak's life, but they stole the fragments we'd been working on gathering too. Took a carriage to Dawnstar. I'm not sure how we caught on to where the Silver Hand went, but they're up that way, says the marker on our map. I'm gonna have to rest till morning here. I'm getting tired and it's really cold in Dawnstar. That didn't stop me from worrying about freezing to death up here. It's light out, but it's still colder than something very cold. I rushed the fight at the door to the Silver Hand dungeon, dropping an Atronach and running in as fast as possible to warm my hands on this fire. I should get better at handling the cold. I won't, but I should. Something I did find out here, it might just be me going crazy, but switching between spells hotkeyed while walking backwards looks to make me move faster. I don't see my FOV changing or character screen moving in any other way than just speed. I might be wrong, but it really does feel like I'm moving faster doing this. Killed all of the remaining Silver Hand in here, grabbed the fragments, and made my escape with Vilkas. Now we need to make it back to Whiterun. Getting extremely close to the end of the quest line. Attended Kodlak's funeral. It was depressing, like you'd expect, but motivating for the companions at the same time. We're planning on using the witch head to cure Kodlak's curse, even in death. We now have all of the fragments of Ufrad, and Yurland repairs the epic war axe to take into battle. He gives it to me to wield. I, however, have no interest in using this thing. I'll probably sell it to Belethor for a stupidly low price. We need to head for Ysgramor's tomb, up behind Winterhold. Leaving Winterhold is already something I'm not looking forward to, but for now, we have a dragon terrorizing the town. I was hoping going into the inn to warm up and then sleep an hour would make it get lost, but it didn't. Still here, causing havoc. We don't get to kill many dragons in this playthrough. I'm never going to be the most perfect backwards walking dragon slayer, but I'll take advantage of all of the friendlies around and being able to get an easy kill, I guess. It died after a 5-minute fight with the town. I ate its soul like it's my last meal, because with how frustrating this playstyle is, it might very well be this playthrough's last dragon fight. It's getting later in the day. And like always, I have no problem waiting until morning before leaving towns. I'll move out around 7 a.m.-ish in the morning. It's time to get on over. Just a downhill walk and a frozen river to cross, and bam! I'm here. Inside Ysgramor's tomb, we give the statue of Ysgramor his axe temporarily to open the way ahead. The companions' inner circle are here, but as you go throughout the tomb, fighting its companion spirits, the inner circle members dwindle for various reasons. Dwindle, that's the word. Unlike Batman, Vilkas doesn't want his heart ran by vengeance, and Farkas is scared of spiders. So when we made it to Kodlak's spirit, it was just me and Ayala remaining. We toss the witch's head into the blue fire and get to challenge Kodlak's beast spirit for Kodlak's release. We fail and get chewed up by the ghostly puppers. But the second time around, we get some sweet, sweet revenge. It's dead, and Kodlak is free to go to Sovngarde. We now have Ufrad and Ysgramor's shield. I'll likely, like I said, just sell them. I have no use for them. But that's the companion's questline done. What's next? Well, first, I'm sleeping the harsh weather away at the inn in Winterhold. We have some perk points to spend, but before I do want to quickly pop into the college here to find the Conjuration Mage. I don't really need to level Conjuration this way. We'll hit it fine by just playing the game, but I wanted to speed it up and spend some gold to train Conjuration to level 50. So we can take Adept Conjuration, so now we can summon our Frost Atronach for a much lower cost, and switch over to this guy as my main summon going forward. If we flash back real quick, I did also take Mystic Binding, so bound weapons, like my bow, do more damage. And Summoner, so we can summon Atronachs or raise the undead from twice as far away. Meaning I don't have to be as close to the action to plant my summon smack bang in the middle of a group of enemies. Now for that dreaded walk away from Winterhold. I'm in for Windhelm and I'm taking the same route we took earlier. I died to a bear. But other than that, thankfully there was nothing to talk about on the way. Besides the brutal attack, it was a fairly straightforward walk. Taking the Windhelm carriage, this time to Solitude. I'm here to visit one of my favorite merchants, the Fishman. Love the sheer amount of food you can get from him in one visit, and I just don't have to worry about food for a few days after doing so. Just casually selling Iskramor's shield to the blacksmith in town. I'm sure you can get some good use out of it. Same I can have Ufrad too. Why not? I'll take the gold. I did get this Conjuration illusion robes today, so that's nice. I'm not sure where it came from, but they make illusion and conjuration spells cost less to cast, and increase the speed my magicka regenerates. I'm sure it looks great too. I can't see me wearing it because third person would get me effectively cancelled, wouldn't it? I know how the internet goes. Right, you know what organization could use my super sneaky backwards walking skills? The Thieves Guild. Yep, I reckon I'd make a great thief. And I plan on seeing what they make out of me over there in Riften. Oh crap, there's a dragon coming. Quick, 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 through the gates. That was no good. The Sky Gecko followed me through the loading screen and is now raining terror from the skies. But this is actually a great place for a dragon attack to happen if you suck at the game or you've chosen to handicap yourself like I have. Because there's like so many friendlies in such a small space that the dragon goes down very quickly, with the massive amount of damage being thrown his way. It's dead, and I suck up its invisible soul. Its bones aren't there for me to take some reason, but well, I'll take the soul either way. I slept to fix up my screen and ate my feelings away when I woke up. It's unhealthy really, but with my belly full, I chatted with Brynjolf in the town center about a job. He wants me to steal a ring and plant it on this dark elf so he takes the fall for the robbery. Somebody wanted him taken down, and I couldn't care less who. Brynjolf says to meet him at the Ragged Flagon below the city in the sewers if I want to carry on this relationship. And God, I do. Don't tell my pregnant girlfriend. I switched it up using the fear spell to get through the ratways. Not sure why. Some of these guys will have to die or be re-feared coming back through here later. Met with Brynjolf and his gang of thieves. He wants me to get some money from people around Riften that owe us. It's protection money. I have no idea. I wasn't listening. One guy in the ratways got in my way and had to die. I killed him instead of bending his mind into fearing me this time. And getting the gold off the townsfolk isn't that difficult. One caves after you take her statue of the Bella and friend to toss it down a well. Another's flask quite literally caves under the pressure of my bound arrow, piercing its shell, making this guy pay up before I destroy more of his pretty stuff. Then this Argonian's just heard of what I'd been up to, and coughs up, no questions asked. Totally forgot about the unfriendlies in the ratways I'd made feared me, and well, they fear me no longer. I'm dead, and revenge must be had. By my Frost Atronach, that is. He Superman punches the ground, sending him to oblivion, while I get my reward from Brynjolf and meet some other members of the guild. This is Mercer Frey. Spoilers, he's a total knob. And I am a big button masher. I plowed through the dialogue and was sent to the Golden Glow estate, just across the water from Riften, to steal some documents and burn some beehives. Poor bees. I'm a bit of a knob too, aren't I? I just shot at the bees with a firebolt from afar because I couldn't be bothered to walk on over there. And look the bees in the eye while setting them alight. I turned the job into Brynjolf, who now wants me to do a job for Maven Blackbriar, who won't tell me what's going on. She just tells me to meet someone at the inn in Winterhold, in Whiterun, sorry, for a job. The job's to make the owner of the meadery down the road look bad, and to have Maven acquire it in his place. They have a rodent issue, where to offer our help to deal with the pests, before a guard taste tests the mead. I get 500 gold out of him for the job and go down into the cellar where I found not just skeevers to kill, but many spiders, and even a mage hanging out. The Frost Atronach really is handling business for us. I did poison a nest to sort the skeevers problem, but I also messed with the mead. Now, during the taste test, the guard will be upset and cart off the owner, and leave Malice in charge. Maven will be pleased with this outcome. I did go through some books in the building, and found something in it, matching one my character found in Golden Glow Estate. Maven's in the same place we left her. Gave her the information, and the Thieves Guild thinks someone's trying to drive a wedge between Maven and the guild. Someone that might know more is an Argonian in Solitude called Golemai, because his name's on the same document we found, or something. Massive carriage ride up to the top left corner of the map for me. Today was a short day. Had to go to the Winkin' Skeever to find Golemai. There's the lizard. He has to wait because I need some sleep. I can't see him very well, and the conversation's not going anywhere. But me? It looks like I'm going to the Blue Palace down the street in the morning. He won't give me any information on who he knows is messing with us until we get him a case of wine we can find at the Blue Palace. I'm to steal it. It's easy to steal. It's in a very quiet hallway with nobody around but me and Mercurio. Who's my new follower, by the way? I totally forgot to talk about it, but he's a mage you can hire at Riften's Bean Bard for just 500 gold. And he's pretty OP. He'll be replacing Lydia from now on, now that we've finished the Companion's quest line. Let's get this wine back to Golemai. The jerk's still holding out on me. Gave me some terrible information, and I'm to follow the rat to see where he goes. I did something he didn't see coming. I had him follow me. Mostly because this is the only way I can keep an eye on him, but we also just can't fail this quest. With having him see us, so it's whatever, really. We end up at the docks, where I'm just gonna spoil it because I'm falling off the side into some water over and over again, and it's frustrating the crap out of me. Golemai says the name of the person messing with the guild is called Karlaya. There seems to be a dragon in town again, but I'm ignoring its existence because I need some sleep. Resting at the inn and grassing on Karlaya to the Thieves Guild. Mercer is furious to hear Karlaya's name. She supposedly betrayed the guild, killing its previous guildmaster Gallus, and is exiled by the group. Based on a line that reads, "Where the end began," Mercer says he knows where she'll be. Up behind Windhelm at Snow Vale Sanctum. We'll meet him there, but my new follower can't come into the sanctum, sadly. It's just gonna be me and Mercer. Went to Windhelm and entered the city to take the side gate out, so we don't have to cross that super cold river alongside Windhelm. Didn't stop the cold from getting to me. It's freezing up here. I had to warm up with this fire I found. I think Karlaya herself camped out here and lit it up. Chatted with Mercer, who's about to betray the crap out of me, and we head on in to find Karlaya. We do find a lot of Draugr. Like, a lot of Draugr. Strong ones too, that severely halted my progress through here, having me stand in the same area for a good 10 minutes at a time. It was my fault it took so long. I could have been helping with my bound bow and it would have sped it up, but I was being lazy, letting Mercer and Frosty the Snowman over there do all of the hard work. I did put 2 points into Archery's Overdraw perk today, bringing me up to 80% more damage with a bow. These perks do work on conjured bows too, so it's not a waste. After all of the undead slain, we make it to the puzzle door that requires a dragon claw to progress. I'm always curious about this specific door. The claw that goes alongside it isn't available in the game, and it makes me think what kind of claw it would be. Mercer just big-brained his way through it somehow, picking the stupid thing. Only for me to reverse through the doorway and take a shot right in the back of the head, taking me down. I'm not dead, just paralyzed. Karlaya was who took the shot, but she turns invisible and escapes the interaction, only for Mercer Frey to stab me in the face with his sword in an attempt on my life. Turns out Mercer was who killed Gallus, not Karlaya, and she was framed by Mercer. Whatever Karlaya shot at me slowed my heart and kept me from bleeding out. She saved me. We have Gallus's journal. It's why she was there in the sanctum, looking for it on his remains. But it's all written in Thalmor text, and we can't read it. Stopped at Whiterun to sell some things. I know we just came from the best place to look for spells, but I did also check in on the court wizard here to see if he had any spells I wanted. He didn't, but I thought I'd check. Anyways, Markov's up. We need to be able to understand Gallus's journal, and there's a wizard here who's an expert on this sort of stuff. There's a murder as soon as you enter the town that you can stop if you're quick enough, but if you think I'm fast enough to save that poor lady, you have another thing coming. The guards sought revenge, and got it. As for me, I seek Calselmo, the expert I was talking about at the Understone Keep. He says he'll give me the keys to his museum and give access to past the guards if I help him with a spider infestation. And to say this experience was like putting a fork in the microwave would be putting it lightly. I quick saved at a very bad time, just before Nimmy the spider was about to strike and murder the crap out of me. I didn't see it because I was walking backwards. Shocker, I know. I got caught in a death loop that only ended when I'd had enough and reloaded a previous save to just go through the area again. Me and my mage buddies sat back like the cowards we are in a tunnel taking shots while Frosty played tank, taking all of the aggro. It's dead. And I left to tell Calselmo, who let me get access to his museum. You can just sneak through this area without doing the spider quest, but I didn't fancy my chances sneaking past the guards backwards. So I did it to be safe. You do, after you get past a certain point, meet some guards who are not so friendly, who tried to kill you anyway. I Uno reversed the heck out of that situation and made it to the Falmer text, taking a rubbin using charcoal and some paper and left. I'm struggling to see because of tiredness. I had to make a jump down the waterfall, not just backwards, but blind. I surprisingly survived the fall and left for Winterhold. I'm addled. I've never heard that word in my life. Magic and stamina regenerate 30% slower for 24 hours. I refuse to believe that's what it says in the dictionary. I hate going to this place. I've considered trying the quest line at the college here, but the walk to and from the place is just not fun backwards. Slept and ate while here. I'd neglected that stuff the last day, and I'm really needing it now. Carlia and her friend Enther are in the cellar at the inn. They go through the rubbin and the journal, and turns out Gallus had gotten suspicious Mercer had been stealing from the guild for a while. And that's what led to Mercer killing Gallus. Now that we have proof of Carlia's innocence, she wants us to take the info to the guild and see what they make of it. It's getting close to nighttime. Making a move out of the town before it's too late, and it's too cold to make a move at all. At Riften, me and Carlia meet at the Ragged Flagon, and walk awkwardly together to face the rest of the guild with the proof. The guild check on their stash that's now been completely emptied, and it's like 2020 all over again, and there's no toilet paper anywhere. I tell Brynjolf all I'd learned recently, all about Carlia being the one trying to drive a wedge between the guild and Maven, how Gallus was killed by Mercer, and him and Carlia are nightingales. The lot. Told him everything. He wants me to look through Mercer's home here in Riften to see if I can find what he's been planning next. The house was well guarded, and their arrow was not well placed. Brought down the bridge to the front door and went on in to clear the riffraff. I got stuck in this hugely trapped tunnel. I thought I was going to be stuck here, like not be able to progress the quest line. Moving backwards through here isn't the ideal way to go about doing it, and I died many times until I made it through. Found some plans. Mercer is going after the very expensive Eyes of the Falmer, and Brynjolf doesn't want to let him get his grubby little hands on them. Carlia wants us to meet Mercer on equal footing by making us all nightingales, getting Nocturnal herself's blessing. I got some nightingale armor, which isn't that bad at all, by the way, and was met by the bug that has Carlia straight up just ditch us, making the quest impossible to complete. I reloaded a save, and she was more open to progressing this time. We became nightingales, and got the blessing we were after. The Eyes of the Falmer are in a Dwemer dungeon up near Windhelm. We'll meet Brynjolf and Carlia there in a bit. They're ahead of me, by a good bit, and it's kind of annoying because they somehow got ahead of a lot of enemies I was left to fight. I guess the game wants you to think they snuck by them, and I was able to do the same, which I'm not going to be able to be too great at doing with this S-button crap. Selfish of the game to not think of people doing this challenge while it was being created. Plenty of bandits on the outside and dwarven machines between me and my friends. My follower isn't even allowed in here. He just straight up won't show up in this quest at this location. It's just me and my... Oh crap! That guy got close. It's just me and my Atronach for now. Flame traps to avoid too. Don't get me wrong, doing anything backwards in this game isn't fun, but I won't miss the chance to complain about how getting past this fire backwards also very, very sucks. I finally caught up with the other nightingales. We caught Mercer making his way through ahead of us, but I did think my time here had ended at this point. See, there's two levers to pull in this room. You pull one, and you have just a short amount of time to run to the other one on the other side of the room to pull it and open the gate ahead. I failed at this about 10 times, trying different ways and paths to make it over to the other lever, and things were not looking good. Until I somehow made it this time around, lowering the gate so we could progress. And about 43 seconds later, I rage quit, dying to a bunch of these things. I need a break from all of the stressful stuff. Which is funny, because at this point in time, I thought buying a house, getting married, and starting a family would be a break. That's like the opposite of a break, isn't it? I'm in Riften to buy an amulet of Mara from the priest at the Temple of Mara for 200 gold. Now with this amulet, we can wear it to show people we're available and interested in them. If we're in good favor with someone and they like us, then they could be a potential marriage opportunity. I'm heading for Whiterun to find a spouse. I'm thinking Ayala. I know she's already able to be married, and life is already hard enough walking backwards everywhere, so I don't see a reason to pursue someone difficult to marry. I searched for about 4 seconds for Ayala, and settled for Rhea, since she's closer. She'll do. I'm not much to look at, but I'm rich, so that doesn't really matter. I'm not! I have just enough gold to buy the cheapest base game house. I'm taking Breeze home here in Whiterun for 5,000 gold. Bought all of the upgrades and went to have a look. I love filling homes in Skyrim, making them feel more alive with family and other things. We have Lydia, who will move in, along with me and my follower visiting. We gotta go get married. You do that in Riften's Temple of Mara, where we bought the amulet. I asked the priest if we could have a wedding here, and he said to return at midnight to attend the ceremony. I wonder who will come to my wedding. I'm betting the companion members. Any Civil War Imperials gonna come? Who knows? I doubt we'd get any Thieves Guild members, but we'll see. Supposed to be taking it easy from all of the stress, so I rested up before the big day and arrived early. Skipped just a little bit more time to get to the ceremony time, and there she is. The love of my life and my second choice. I know I'm in third person right now. I can't do this part in first person, and I'm not really doing anything that would be hard outside of third person, so chill out. I got married and told her we can live in the house I purchased in Whiterun. Farkas from the companions and that other guy came. Pretty quiet wedding, I will say. At least I had Farkas. Now at Whiterun, my new spouse has arrived and acts as a merchant now. She's opened a shop for something to do when I'm out and about. There's more to do to fill the home. You can adopt children like Lucia in town.
Since she died. My aunt and uncle took over our farm and threw me out. Said I wasn't good for anything.
I said she could go to Breeze home and be my daughter. A little weird. We met her about not even a minute ago, and we're calling each other daughter and papa, but here we are. You can adopt 2 kids per character in the game. The home's a little girl heavy right now. We're outnumbered. That's 3 girls, 2 boys if we're counting my follower. Up in Dawnstar, there's a boy to help level the field. He, like Lucia, also has a very sad story.
My pa was a sailor. Took me with him on his last trip. After he got sick, they put us off here and left without us. He died a few days later. I've tried to make do since then, but it's been hard. Real hard.
I adopt him and send him to my home in Whiterun. Hopefully he makes it safe. Or not. I couldn't care less, really. I'm barely doing crap here, but I'll happily take the bones to sell to my wife when it dies. It's dead, and I'm to do the grueling walk back to Whiterun to see my living-filled home. There's more we can get for homes. Like in the Hearthfire DLC homes, you can hire a steward, to then hire a bard and a carriage driver, along with farm animals and such, but I'm not doing the Hearthfire DLC stuff in this playthrough. Sounds like a nightmare getting resources for that. The homes also aren't in a convenient location for this playstyle either. This one is right in the middle of the map with carriage travel available to and from it. Not that I really needed a home. I'm not using it for storage or anything really. I just needed a break. And now I need a break from my wife and kids. I need a break from my break. I'm planning on figuring out how to turn invisible, not just to escape my family, but to help me with the Mercer Frey hunt. The Falmer are blind, but getting the invisibility spell will help avoid all of the other enemies in the Dwarven Ruin. Spending the day at home casting Muffle, sometimes resting to regain Magicka, and sometimes not. Using Muffle this way, again like earlier, will hugely boost my illusion skill. And when we get illusion to level 75, we'll have access to the invisibility spell through bartering with merchants. Now that we've hit that level, we have some perk points to spend before we get to getting the spell. 4 to spend, and the first is going into Illusions Expert Illusion, so we can cast spells like invisibility easier once we have it. Then Rage, so frenzy spells work on higher level opponents. I've not really used the frenzy spell since I got it, but I'll take the perk because I did and do plan on using it. Just forgot it existed. Move it over to Conjuration, taking Conjuration dual casting, so dual casting spells in the tree overcharges the spell, making it a more powerful version. Dual casting Frost Atronach, for example, will increase our summon's time summoned. Lastly, taking Archery's critical shot for a 10% chance of critical hit that does extra damage. All useful perks for our build. Now let's go learn how to turn invisible. Over in Winterhold, if we talk to the Illusion Mage again, he'll have the invisibility spell for sale now that Illusion's level 75. But I can't afford it. I didn't come prepared, so I had to sell my wedding ring and my mage's robes to buy it. I'm using the Nightingale gear going forward anyway, so I don't need the robes, and I'm not sure I plan on visiting my spouse ever again, so she'll never know about the ring. Hair and muffle with invisibility, I'm practically undetectable, unless I bump into something. And that's very likely to happen. But it'll help sneaking past enemies. I'm back on day 64 to the Dwarven Ruins we spotted Mercer at, and where the Eyes of the Falmer are located. This is one of the more frustrating locations to traverse walking backwards. All of the awkward paths through, and bridges going up to the entrance. It's not fun. Made it, but I hope I never have to do that backwards again. Made sure to keep invisible going through. Like I said, the Falmer are blind, but there are enemies here, like the machines, that aren't. Thankfully, with the new spells, getting through is a piece of cake. There's Mercer. Generally, this fight isn't that hard at all. I barely ever have trouble with it. And even with the S button being our only means of transportation, it wasn't a tough fight. I just stayed in the same spot the entire time, making sure my snowman kept his aggro, while I shot from afar with my bound bow. Just like me, Mercer can go invisible, but my Atronach can still keep on him pretty good. We killed him pretty good, and looted his corpse as the dungeon is collapsing around us, pouring water into the room. The room fills to the ceiling with water, and I nearly drown, but I just about make it out into the water-free tunnel that opens up in the ceiling. When we looted Mercer's body, we got not only the Eyes of the Falmer, but we also got the Skeleton Key, a key that can be used to unlock any lock and can't break like normal lockpicks. We can end the quest line here and keep the key, or we can return the key. I'm gonna finish the quest line and follow through with returning the key to Nocturnal, who we stole it from in the first place. I'm traveling at night, and it's absolutely freezing trying to get to Windhelm's carriage. I froze to death more times than I can count. Even using the hotkey spell switching method, I think, but maybe not, lets you move faster. I managed to be efficient enough with movement in the end to make it to the carriage and very quickly travel to Falkreath before freezing to death.
Did you see a dog out there?
No, I didn't see a dog. I said no. I don't have business in Falkreath itself, but it's the closest hold to where Nocturnal's Pilgrim's Path is, and I need to rest up here at the inn before going there. Oh look, it's Vilkas, out in the middle of nowhere. Don't mind me, Vilkas, just ruining my companion's status's honor by messing around in Thieves Guild happenings. Here is the Twilight Sepulchre, and inside you meet Gallus's spirit, who asks what I intend to do being here. I plan on not messing with a soul in here. Literally. I'm avoiding every angry sentinel you'd fight, staying invisible as I pass by all of them. The only real threat is the traps. We don't trigger floor traps through skills taken, but the already running traps like this stupid corridor and the door trap I just quick saved the second it triggered are an issue. Yep, that was the most perfect quick save trap I put myself into ever. I can't even move a centimeter when the game loads. The only save I have takes me back to the very start, but what can I do? Let's just do that and get back through this thing. There's the sentinels to avoid. the bladed corridors to jump through. And there's the stupid log trapdoor. Not getting me this time. This hole in the ground, however, got me good. But it's scripted. The game wants you to think you're trapped forever. But then, there's a key interaction. And the floor vanishes below my feet, revealing where I can return the key. I place it, and get thanked by Nocturnal herself. I'm given a magical gift I'm never ever going to use, and that's the quest line complete. It was a rough one, but we did it, all while walking backwards. The next day was spent mostly traveling and doing a little bit of business, casually selling the Nightingale bow. I'm sticking with my bound bow. It's done me good, and I have no need for that Nightingale bow. I was trying to decide what I wanted to do next, and I'd think I'd make a great assassin. Oh, how far we've fallen. From trying to save the world, and then joining a very honorable stable, the Companions, to taking up a life of crime, and now attempting to be a stone-cold killer. Literally. I'm freezing here. To join the Dark Brotherhood Assassins, we first have to take the contract that's not ours. See, there's a boy in Windhelm who's trying to summon the Dark Brotherhood, doing the Black Sacrament, so he can have Grelod the Kind killed. I appear and accept the contract. Before we get to that, there's a dragon now in front of Windhelm. I'm hiding in the stables, letting everyone else deal with it. It died eventually, and I grabbed the drops to sell. Grelod the Kind lives down in Riften, and is in charge of the orphanage there. She's a terrible person, and I shot on sight. I got given a plate for my reward. It's an heirloom that I have no interest in. But now we have to wait for a letter from the Dark Brotherhood. I figured we'd head over to Solitude again while we wait on the ladder, so we can buy some more food. I'm running low, and a trip to my favorite food stall is due. This was weird because I never even got the letter from the Brotherhood you normally get. You know, the we know letter with a handprint on it. I thought you're supposed to get that and then sleep to trigger the kidnapping part, but nope. I slept at the Winkin' Skeever to wake the town so we'd get mail and be able to buy food in the morning. But we didn't make it that far. See, putting my head down, I get bagged and taken to an unknown location where Astrid from the Dark Brotherhood questions me on taking that contract that wasn't mine. She says I owe them a kill. I'm supposed to figure out who out of the 3 NPCs in the room have a contract on their head, and then take them out. I questioned nobody, and killed the one in the middle and the left. Why? Because cat. That's why. The one on the right is a cat. I'd never kill a cat. Astrid says to meet her at the Brotherhood Sanctuary down by Falkreath if I want to continue this relationship. I went to wake the town for real this time and get my hands on some of that seared slaughterfish. I'll be back in a week or so, my friend. Let's get down to Falkreath. I have no doubt I'm actually gonna suck as an assassin. I can't really evade the law too well, and I can't see this going well, which is exactly why I want to do it. This video has been full on pain to make, so why not add more fuel to the fire and really give myself burnout? It's not necessarily a hard way to play, but it's hugely frustrating, and if you've not tried it, I'd not recommend it to anyone except my worst enemy. I got to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary and gave the door the passcode. Silence, my brother. I met my new family and got my first few contracts. 3 kills to make, scattered around the map. The one in the middle is near Windhelm, and since there's a carriage there, we should head for that one first. Then we can use that means of transportation to get to the other holes near the other 2 contracts. Is yet another dragon at the front of Windhelm. This place is the place to be if you're a dragon, apparently. I'll take the drops when I can. They sell for a nice chunk of gold, and there's a lot of help around to kill it. We're gonna manage about 1 kill a day here, I'm guessing, with the backwards travel. Windhelm's an easy one, up the road by the water wheels little village. Easy to get to, and by far the easiest kill. Got the guy sitting on a rock in just 2 arrow shots, and didn't get spotted. No bounties today. Can't let this campfire go to waste. I'm cold. Next one I'm hitting is over in Dawnstar, and I have a feeling it's not gonna be as simple, but we'll see. Frostbite. I know that's bad in real life, but how bad is it in Skyrim? Makes my bows do 30% less damage for 24 hours. So yeah, it sucks in Skyrim too then. What sucks the most is now that I'm getting on with contracts the next 24 hours, I'll need my bow to make the kills. Our kills won't be as clean for sure. I got into a good position to spot the next target. who works the forge in town. I know it's one of those two women down there, but I have no clue which it is. Taking a chance on the one on the right. One shot, and 2 shots, she's dead. And look at that, it was indeed the right one. No bounty from the kill either. Did that pretty well, I will say. Now to sneak away from the town for Whiterun to take the carriage from there to Riften, which was the worst one to do for sure. I didn't get into much trouble from these contracts as I thought I would, but the travel between Riften and Ivarstead, where the last contract is located, isn't very fun. Ivarstead is off out of the way with no carriage access to and from the town, so it's not a nice trip. A lot of the views during the day around here are really nice, I will say. So at least I have something pretty to look at while I suffer. Made it to Ivarstead. The guy with the contract on him is homeless and lives out of the way on the other side of the river. Hiding by the ruined house, away from the guards, I got a shot off on him and then a second shot, sending him to the skies, figuratively and literally. Actually, I think that was my follower's lightning bolt that did it, not the second shot. Now for the tiring walk back.
See a dog out there.
I should have just answered him, shouldn't I? I'll say no to get him off my back. I know I complain a lot in this video, and it's not going to stop until the video ends. But I think the Dark Brotherhood is going to be the most tedious questline we've done. The get into the Sanctuary is easy. We can carriage over to Falkreath and just walk a little out of the city to get to the hideout. But leaving, the closest carriage ride from here is Whiterun, and that's pretty far away. I could have made the Hearthire DLC home in Falkreath and purchased the carriage upgrade there. I could have. I won't, but I could have. I'll just continue to cry about it on the internet. I've become the reason why I deleted Twitter. Meanwhile, at the Sanctuary, Cicero has turned up. A jester who's not quite got his crap together. He does have this cool box though. It houses the Night Mother. Astrid wants me to take on a contract over in Markarth. Before we make our way there, let's turn in the other free quests we did. We get 600 gold a kill, which is nice, considering I'm not really that wealthy in this playthrough. Thankfully, I can cut out this walk for you, but for me, it's a 20-minute or so walk to Whiterun, and then a carriage ride to Markarth. The walk to Whiterun is much more appealing to me than the walk to Markarth from Sanctuary. This lady, wandering the streets, once Elaine Dufont killed. I think I'm saying that right. They were together, an item, and she didn't know he was the leader of a bandit group. She wants another person killed in Windhelm too for a bonus. I skipped the dialogue. I don't care about the optional objective in this one. Carriaged on over to Windhelm. Take a sip of milk every time I say carriage in this video, you milk drinkers. I had to rest here. The bonus she wanted taken out is here in this building with me at the inn, but I didn't even look at her. I have no plans on dealing with that in the middle of the city. Dufont is gonna get it though, just like this giant. I've come a long way since the start, I'd say. Not a perfect build. Not even close. But we've got to level 30 so far while walking backwards, and I'm feeling progress. Tested my damage on a giant using my follower, Atronach, and Bound Bow. We took it down stress-free. The font is held up in some dwarven ruins with his bandit buddies. I passed on killing the ones outside. That's something my follower didn't agree with, but killed everyone on the inside. Gave Dufont a trim, with the first arrow missing the shot, but the second one found its mark, along with the third, taking him down with it landing between the eyeballs. Or at least, on the cheek. On my way back, casting invisibility to give the illusion I didn't just fall to my death. Mission success. She wasn't happy I skipped on the bonus, but pays up for the main kill. I'm doing the bare minimum for these quests, and I don't even care. Right. Let's get back down to Dawnstar and see what Astrid has for us next. Oh, this is Falkreath, not Dawnstar. There's a dragon out there, seeking shelter at the Sanctuary. Hopefully it's gone when I leave, and we won't have to worry about it. Astrid talks of the jester's erratic behavior since he's arrived, and asks me to eavesdrop on some conversations he's been having lately. I hid in with the Night Mother, in her coffin in the room he'd been heard talking to someone. But turns out he's just talking to the Night Mother. Cicero will never hear her speak, as much as he would love that, but she does speak to the Dragonborn, saying I should go to a place called Volendrung to speak to someone called Amand Montier about a contract. Cicero finds me in the coffin and isn't too happy about it, but changes his tone when he hears that the Night Mother has spoken. While they chat, I need to rest. I found a bed, and noticed I'd hit level 100 sneak at some point recently too. That's nice. Hadn't even noticed. Took the final stealth perk to make me 40% overall harder to detect with the perks invested in the sneak. Astrid wants to think about what the Night Mother said before we move on. She wants me to do some more contract work with Nazir before we decide what to do. I'm to kill Hearn, the vampire, at a lumber mill not far from here, and Lurbuk, whoever that is. I will say this invisibility spell has helped me get in around a lot. I know I complain about travel, and yeah, it still sucks, but I bump into so much less not-so-friendly NPCs this way. If I keep up the cast, then I can walk a foot from wolves, and they'll have no clue that I'm there. Speaking of being there, I'm here at the mill. You can find Hearn, the vampire at. He lives here with Hurt, and both have to die. Can't have them reporting me to the authorities. I think we can get both contracts today. The next one's over in Morthal. Talking about invisibility making things easier. I've not really done much to make life easier for myself, have I? I'm a bit of a glass cannon, having not invested into health at all, or working on my armor. You know, I don't even do that much damage, now that I think about it. I'm not even a glass cannon, I'm just glass. The second contract is dead center of Morthal, at the inn. An orc's chillin', having his lunch, when all of a sudden, an arrow pierces his ear hole, and my follower finishes him off with a quick lightning bolt to the back, sending him flying. I took the carriage from Solitude down to Falkreath, and went to report my success. But Astrid pulls me for a chat, saying we would be stupid to not accept the contract the Night Mother mentioned, and to go talk to Amand Montier. But first, let's get our 600 gold for the kills. That's 1,200 total for a pretty easy day's work. I hope my family doesn't find out about my life of crime. I never made it to the big contract today. A bit of a business break going on. Amand Montier is found in a crypt not too far from Whiterun. He's not that hard to find in the crypt either. Just a 10-second walk even for me, and bam! There he is. He was performing the Black Sacrament just like the boy in Windhelm to contact the Dark Brotherhood. But his contract is for none other than the Emperor. Yep, he gives me a letter and an amulet to bring to Astrid. The amulet is quite valuable, he says. Back at Sanctuary, Astrid wants the amulet approved. The letter was to explain it all, and the amulet is for the expenses. She says Delvin at the Thieves Guild in Riften is to have a look at the amulet, and if he's willing, we should sell it to him too.
That old woman who runs the orphanage has been murdered. Say, didn't I see you coming out of there?
Yeah, I did it, and I'd do it again. I used the secret passage in the graveyard in town to access the Thieves Guild. I'd not spoken to Brynjolf since we completed the big quest line here. We have a chat about what went down. I think I'm the new leader here too. Delvin, however, didn't get the memo. I'd not spoken to him even once up until this point, and he's talking to me like I'm brand new around here. I showed him the amulet, and yes, he is willing to buy it. The amulet is one from the Elder Council, and he gives us a letter of credit that only Astrid can use. I give it to Astrid, and find out I'm off to a wedding. The target is Victoria. She oversees the East Empire Company's business holdings in Solitude, and tomorrow's her big day. Her death will cause an uproar, which is what Astrid says we want. She's the cousin of the Emperor, and hopefully it will make the Emperor need to visit the area. I'm dreading this part, honestly. Making a kill at the wedding, and then escaping the madness. I can't see it going well. Speaking of not going well, finding the open gateway to the wedding also isn't going well. I'm just struggling here. I said not a word to the Lady of the Hour, and backed up to hide at the back of the area. Waited for her to go give her speech on the balcony, and popped her in the face with a conjured arrow. Now things kick off pretty good. There's fighting all over the place, and I cast invisibility to try to evade the aggro. I did. I made it out of the city, and made my way to the carriage where I quickly paid the rider to take me to Falkreath. Astrid's happy and tells me to talk to Gabriella for the next step in the Emperor's assassination. Gaius Maro is a member of the Penitus Oculatus. Not a clue how to say it. The Emperor's personal guard, anyway. He is the son of Commander Maro, the guard's leader, says the wiki, and his death would rattle the guard. I get a bonus if I don't kill him at Dragon's Bridge, where he's currently located, or on the road. She wants me to kill him in a city, a major city, so his body's easily found. I don't plan on doing the city thing. Not a chance. I've gotten on fine doing city jobs, but I'd rather not if I can help it. And I can help it. Wandering into Dragon's Bridge to start the guard's walk, and well, walked right back out ahead of his route he takes. To meet him at this signpost in the road to take him down. He died in a very hard to find him location. A bush. Yep, he's in a bush. Planted some incriminating evidence on him too while I'm at it. So when he does inevitably get found, he's thought to be up to no good and be in on a plot to kill the Emperor. We better return to Gabriella, the Dark Elf at Sanctuary. Rested up at Falkreath before leaving for home. I only slept a couple of hours to remove the blurriness on my screen. There's still a dragon flying around between town and home I'm avoiding. I'll continue to avoid it for as long as possible. There's been an incident at the Dark Brotherhood, or rather, a stabbing. Cicero, the jester, went mad and lashed out at the family. The Emperor's assassination is on hold while we search his room for clues as to where he's gone and try to hunt down the clown. A journal mentions another sanctuary in Dawnstar. Astrid's husband's gone after him too, so chances are we'll find them both there. I'm back, Dawnstar. I hate visiting towns with no carriages. All I think about when I'm at them is the grueling walk away from them. From this specific town, I tend to aim for Whiterun afterwards to catch a ride there. As you can see, I've arrived at Dawnstar's sanctuary. It's hidden near the water, to the side of the town. Let's just get in position to talk to Arnbjorn, who's currently bleeding out on the floor. He says he got the jester good as well. He says he got the jester good as well. He practically did the you should see the other guy thing. I told the door the passphrase and went on in. We fought through a load of Sanctuary Guardians, and it got a bit dicey on this bridge with the spear trap. I had to jump down to get out of trouble, and fell directly into trouble. Using my Atronach and hiding abilities, I survived the altercation though, and made it to Cicero. He's badly injured after the fight with Arnbjorn, and says to just walk away and tell Astrid we killed him. We can either kill him or follow through with his request. He becomes a follower option later if we let him live. But the reason I'm letting him live is because it just feels unnecessary for me to kill him. He'll fight back, and it could cost me my life, and some time I'd rather not spend faffing around here. I'll just go tell Astrid and the others he's dead. Stopped at the inn in Falkreath to warm up, and it looks like we can't avoid that dragon any longer. Well, the townsfolk can't avoid it any longer anyways, because I'm sticking around to get their battle over with, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. I hid and let them do most of the work, while I swooped in right at the end to take some of the glory. And the dragon's soul. I took the dragon's soul, and it's back to business at the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary now that the jest has been dealt with. The Emperor's arrival in Skyrim is imminent, and he's going to need to eat while here. I'm to find out who the chef will be, and take his or her place. The chef's identity is a big secret in Skyrim, to keep the Emperor safe. But I did threaten a different chef who knew who he was into telling me his name. Then, I killed the crap out of him. I just turned myself in straight away, paying the 1,000 gold bounty and letting them strip me of my stolen goods that I don't have. Because I might be the leader of the Thieves Guild, but surprisingly, I'm no thief, really. They didn't find anything on me and I was released that same day for the murder. The location of the Emperor's chef is in the Night Gate Inn. We've been there a few times. Like the time we forged some Stormcloak documents and murdered everyone in the building, so there's no witnesses. They were some good times. Let's go make more memories there. I'm taking the carriage to Windhelm, and we'll walk to the inn from there. The walk was cold, but fairly stress-free. Just the odd wolf to deal with, but nothing more. The chef was surprisingly outside. I have never had this guy be outside like this. I nailed him pretty good, taking him down. The orc is dead. And now I have the writ of passage from his body, meaning I can take his place as the chef. I hid his body under the bridge so it's harder for him to be found. The walk back was cold, just like the walk here. But this time, it was getting to me. By the time I got close to the carriage, I'd gotten frostbite again. The 24 hours of archery fatigue will get eaten up good by the travel though, so it's no worries. I was AFK for a minute, opening a window because it was hot. And I got back to a dragon planting its butt down right behind me, giving me quite the fright. I thought I was dead for sure, but I managed to survive the frost just about and escaped to the inn to rest. I'm hoping the dragon will be gone when I leave. But that wasn't the case. I was chased with my follower all the way to the Brotherhood. It never got me, but this guy might have to die soon. Festus is happy we have the writ of passage, and Astrid gives me some poison to use in our recipe when we cook for the Emperor. Which is up next? It's time to go play cook for the day. I arrived late day 92. I'm not overly tired, but I'm not killing the Emperor until morning. Why is that? Well, when I escape the city, I don't want it to be nighttime for the escape, and then the walk to wherever I want to go. Reported to the commander. I killed this guy's son earlier, and that's going to come back to bite us shortly. I headed to the kitchen and directed Gianna on the recipe. We added carrots, a splash of mead, a nern root, some diced hawker meat, and lastly, the root Astrid gave to us that'll kill the Emperor. We head for the table, and I don't even watch what's going on. I hide by the door I'm to escape through. Planted my frost atronach by the doorway while I waited for the objective to change to allow us to escape. The Emperor dies, and I make my exit through the door behind me. But then, the commander intercepts on the bridge, saying we have a rat in the Brotherhood. Who I just killed was a decoy Emperor, and not the real one, and that the Brotherhood is currently under attack by his people. He orders his men to kill me, and despite this first try not going my way, I can assure you, I escaped. Eventually. Getting closer to the sanctuary, I was bumping into carriages with raiding supplies. I stayed undercover passing the commander's men outside, and continued to do so on the inside for as long as I could. You normally pass a lot of dead Brotherhood members on the way, but I didn't get a chance to take it all in as well, with the whole walking backwards thing. Not many members will be left after today, unfortunately. I helped Nazir fend off a soldier, and then have a sinking feeling while thinking my journey in this questline ends here. See, my job now is to hide in the Night Mother's coffin from the fire and destruction going on, but I can't trigger the entering scene backwards. At least that's what I thought anyways. Lucky for me, all I had to do was kill another soldier Nazir was messing with to trigger the scene. When I wake, the chaos is over, and we find the traitor burnt to a crisp. Astrid is the one that sold us out, and Karma has come to collect. She's paid in full. My arrows are just bouncing off her. I thought again, maybe my time here had come. But switching to a melee weapon, we can take her out with just one swing. The Night Mother says we need to finish up this Emperor contract and go talk to Amand Montier. But not yet. I'm gonna save the Emperor's conjured arrow for the last day or two. I've done enough of the bigger quest lines in this video, and I'm not sure I could finish another one in just a few days if we do it now. So I'm killing time, just playing the game, doing side quests, and randomly exploring areas I'd already been to a million times in past playthroughs. But, obviously, backwards. We're doing it backwards. Here I am in Bleak Falls once more. I love going back through here later on into a playthrough to feel my progression normally. Like, after we've grinded and become stronger. But in this case, I'm not really sure how far I've come. I know I didn't have the spells I have today back then, but it's just not the ego boost I normally get from my character's progression. I can safely say I don't want to do a part 2 of this video. It's like many of my other videos are one-off, and if there's somehow a part 2, then I was forced against my will to make it. Just so you know, if that happens, send help. Visited my family for the last time, day 96. At least I hope it's the last time. I've been a hugely disappointed parent and partner, and I'm doubling down on it. Rhea had made nearly 3,000 gold at her shop for us, so that's a nice payout. She made me a nice meal, and says the kids are loving Whiterun. Now, I feel bad. Everything here seems good. Now back to being invisible for the rest of my days. Don't mind me. Just doing nothing of substance, clearing this bandit camp. They're blocking the path, trying to get gold out of people to be allowed to continue the walk. That's not going to roll with me. Actually, nothing's gonna roll with me because rolling, I'd say, is against the rules of the video. Maybe this will be a new trend on YouTube. It went from Let's Play videos to 100 days videos, and now, walking backwards videos. You're welcome for the idea. I plan on copyrighting this entire thing, and somehow suing basically anyone else that tries it, and then re-downloading Twitter to apologize when I get cancelled for it. In an over-exaggeratedly long tweet, when I mention how all I ever wanted to do in life is... I've actually not searched up if this has been done before on YouTube, by the way, and I don't plan on it until after I've released this video. It might not be an original post, but it's an original thought that I didn't take from anyone else. And like the 100-day trend. I see the trend as a way to make videos that do well on YouTube while also just being able to work videos I want into the trend, you know? I genuinely thank you guys for watching. Your time is the most important thing in the world, and you spending any of it here with me, being silly, walking backwards in video games means the world to me. It's day 99, and I'm headed for the Bannered Mare in Whiterun to talk to Armand Montier finally. He's surprised to see I'm not dead, and says we can still do the contract, and tells me the Emperor is near Solitude, in a guarded ship called the Cataraya. Taking my last carriage of the video on over to Solitude. I have a big bounty here because of my previous wrongdoings. I paid it off, and got patted down for my stolen goods I don't have. Then rested up because I think that water around the boat might make me freeze to death at nighttime. I could be wrong. Let's get over and put an arrow in the real Emperor's head. The Cataraya is just below. Yeah, I'm dead. The Cataraya is just below Solitude in the water. It looks beautiful, but I've always had a problem with this location. It has the Emperor on board, and his protection, just some cowardly sailors and disappointingly weak Oculatus agents. They have less health than most Draugrs you meet at this point in the game. You go through the inside of the boat, trying to make it to the Emperor's room, where you can just pick the lock, head on in, and take him out. As soon as the load-in screen was done, I shot my last arrow of the video. The Emperor is dead. You do later get a massive amount of gold, and a new Dark Brotherhood sanctuary. But I've had enough. We made it to 100 days, and this is as far as I go. Thank you so much for watching, if you're somehow still watching by this point. If you are, you're an absolute nutter, and I love you for it. You guys take care. I'll see you around.